Our guest today is a poet MC. He's an OG. And I would say a poster child for reinvention. Please give it up for Stogie T. Hi, Stogie T.
Good, how you doing? What up, what up, what up, what up, what up?
So, as I explained, we're going to be going through your career and your life's journey, right? But since you are the poet MC, I would like to start each section with a quote. And I would like to see if you can remember the quote and if you can finish it for us. So the first one is, Mama was a soldier. Papa was a preacher.
Mama was a soldier, Papa was a preacher. I don't remember.
Can anyone help him out? Anybody?
Who you got here? Who you got here? Who are these people?
Okay, well, then the next part is that's a Bible in a rifle. So let's start there, because that's a non-conventional childhood, right? So tell us a little bit about how you...
That's a Bible and a rifle. Tell them that don't make believers, right?
Yes.
Sorry.
So let's talk a little bit about your upbringing, right? So you were born in TZ.
Tanzania, yeah.
Yeah. How do you find yourself in TZ in 1981?
Mama was a soldier, Papa was a preacher. My mom and dad were obviously in the movement, and they were misbehaving out here, and it was unsafe for them to be here, so they had to leave. And Tanzania is like or Tanzania as we know it is a non-frontline state. So like Mozambique, Swaziland would be like frontline states because it's like it's too close to the heat, right? But like Tanzania and other places outside would be, there were camps. So Mafco was in Tanzania. So the children would be generally exiled children will be born there, and there'll be settlements there. So that's why I was born there.
Yeah. And at what age do you start to understand truly that like there's a thing called umkhonto wesizwe, there's a thing called apartheid, and then I can't even be home really?
Yeah. I think from earliest memory, really, from the first time I could point back to like a memory. It was always like in my mind, like this is not home. Like we're in the meantime, and I think it's a very, it's a weird space to be in because you're like, it's like, if there is such a thing, like promised land syndrome, you're like, I'm here, but I'm not really, it's you're always other, and in the most, I think, in the deepest sense, because it's like, this is not home. Home is the people around you, and there's this place, So it always makes it really weird. Like, even in my earliest like friendships that I had, it was always like, you hold on to one person. Like I always kind of hold on to one person, and then there's other friends, but there's always this one person that I hold on to. That's like, because it was always like, I don't know if it was intentional, but it felt safer than like, having this whole group of people that, because by 5 you're moving, you're going to Denmark. By this you're moving, you're going to, what I mean? So it's like already you're used to like hops. The only thing that's ever present is mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I like that you said that, because throughout your career, your mom shows up in places in your music, right? But your dad, not so much.
Yeah.
Like what you do tell us is that an agent laced his whiskey
Right.
with a foreign agent. So how old are you when that happens, and do you remember anything about that?
I'm 8 months old when that happens. Yeah. So I mean, it's there isn't even a memory of dude. But what there is a memory of legend. You know what I mean? There's this like not spirit, but there's this icon hovering above you wherever you go, so that even as a 10-year-old, you are struck with this idea of purpose. One, you need to get home. You know what I mean? Like I don't ever remember a time when there wasn't purpose in my life. Like there wasn't like, oh, okay, yo, let's just do. It was always like, yeah, obviously I had a great childhood, and as best they can make, they can give a kid. But in the back of my mind, there was always, yeah, but, right? So home, gotta get home, and then also there's this dude that's looking that's there are these stories of this dude who's like, Superman, and you don't disappoint. I mean, the worst thing for me as a kid growing up was always if I fuck up, or like as a little kid, you naughty, whatever, and my mom doesn't say anything. She just looks at me. That's like the worst. That's death. You know what I mean? I'll tell you a funny story. When I was in Lusaka, this after we moved now, we're in Lusaka, and my mom, the leadership would have meetings at different houses, obviously for safety. So this time they chose my mom's house. I think I've told this story before, but so it's Oliver Tambo, it's Alfred Nzo, it's like luminaries.
Flex.
Yeah, no, it's not a flex. You don't want these meetings happening at your house, by the way. But so mom goes and bakes this amazing cake, and she looks at me. She says, bro, don't touch this thing. Like, don't, this is not for you. It's not for you. It's like serious things happening here, I'm like, whatever.
Had to do what you had to do, man.
So I like, yo, 3-finger the thing, leave the 3-finger imprint on the thing, she does her best to kind of, present it as I don't know what she did, but after that, she gave me the character speech. She said, there are people, I'm like, yo, I'm a kid. I don't even know what the word character means. She's like, there are people with character and the people with no character. And what you've just shown me is that you're a person without any character. Yeah, forever. Yeah, forever. Haunted forever. So you can imagine every other decision is like,
Are you acting out of character?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's very deep. But
heavy.
what's even more deep is that you say you basically saw a gun before you saw a basketball, right? So, and you spoke about holding on to a friend all the time. So when you're moving around all the time, aside from another person, what is the constant in your life? Is it maybe writing?
No, not yet. I think music, was, I think basketball, So that's why I use that thing, because basketball is the reason I even got into hip hop, because it was like, it was home, and like from the first time I looked under the bed, there was always this, AK-47, right? And I knew this. I mean, I used to chase around my friends holding this thing. I mean, you can imagine. It's like, what the fuck am I doing, right? But this thing was like having, I don't know, it was like having door stoppers in your house. This thing. It was always there. And then got introduced to basketball, and that was like, oh man, this is so cool. And through basketball, fucking MJ, and through MJ, Curtis Blow, and Curtis Blow, the rest was like, yo, this guy is, I like what this guy's doing. Yeah, he's talking about my first love. He's talking about he's talking about they playing basketball. I'm like, what the hell is this? I watched the video recently. It's like, white girl, it's so corny. It's super, super cheeseball. Even the song is cheesy, but like, it's the first rhyme I ever learned. Basketball is my favorite sport. I like the way to dribble up and down the court. I was so mesmerized by the fact that, like, he was able to rhyme court and sport. And he's like talking about the same thing. And he's like, that shit blew my mind. I was like, this, how you do that? You know? And after that, I was just obsessed with like, and on this end, my mom is feeding me books. On this end, you know, I'm trying to read The Ugly Duckling and all types of shit. And so all these things kind of are on a slow kind of collision course.
Yeah.
The poetry, the mzwakes, all these things that my mom is feeding me. That, you know, I'm like, she's brainwashing me really. But, you know, I'm doing it because I have to do it. And then on this side, the stuff I really like doing, you know?
Yeah.
But it's slowly on a collision course.
Yeah. And are you thinking, yo, let me try and rhyme some words together? Or are you just like...
Not yet. I think it was more noteworthy to just be able to do it, what they were doing, to rap like they were rapping, in rhythm, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, think about it. I know today a lot of you guys kind of grew up in the world where like rap, hip hop is, you know, it's like pop now, you know? It's like, you know, ever present or whatever. But the idea of rhyming, words that rhyme, like in rhythm, like to a beat or whatever, and the staccato, and I mean, this is what I always find mind blowing about these kids, because to do the quote unquote Migos flow is really harder than to do the 90s flow. Honestly, real talk, because the 90s flow is like, yo, deep as I sleep in the world, you know what I mean? But the Migos flow is like, I gotta let go of the flow, and you know what I mean? That's like, what the fuck? Like, that's harder to do. So it's impressive to me that like, yo, nowadays, like, these guys have the form down pat. Obviously, like, yo, you know, you wish there'd be a little bit more variation in the word selection. You know what I mean? But it is, you know, that was my first obstacle. I remember my first obstacle, without even writing or anything, just imitating, was like, okay, I know the words now. Now to get the rhythm. Like, I know what he's saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, whew. Now the rhythm. Yo, it was like, and this shit was slow. It was, you know what I mean? It's like, yo, it's really difficult, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you get it in no time. And
no time, right?
And at what point do you then think, I'm going to write my own rhyme?
Oh, man, that's so... way down the line. Like, way down. Like, I'd already come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe let's talk about you coming back.
Yeah.
So you're like 11 or 12 when you
12.
come back to South Africa, right? Do you go to Soweto immediately or Berea?
Central Western Jabav. Thrown there in deep end. And these are your cousins. Love them. Bye-bye.
And for you, is it like a culture shock? Because everyone else has been in South Africa forever.
Right.
You're new.
Nah, see, even my cousins were calling me Kwera Kwera, you know? And that's cool, whatever. But what they didn't count on was the fact that I know this thing, you see? I've been traveling. I've been going to places where I'm other. I've been, you know what I mean? So a lot of like, even like someone like Shaka Sisulu, who was in exile with me, you know? He had a tough time. I mean, I hope I'm not like, you know, I'm not snitching or whatever, but, you know, I've seen him speak about it. He had a tough time kind of readjusting. And a lot of exile kids generally had a tough time readjusting because there wasn't a program. And a lot of us came from like programs. We had to learn them conto and seas. We were like, yo, we were properly brave. We're scouts. You know what I mean? So when we came back, it was like, freedom is, you know, it was like, yo, here you go, you know, and then now it's like, yo, everyone else is looking at you like other. But what no one else, you know, for me anyway, was the fact that like, yo, we've done this rodeo before where people call you other and they try to, you know, and I just go, you know, thick skin, baby. You not gonna other me. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not going away. As long as my mom's here, I'm here. If she goes somewhere else, I bet we go in there. But as long as Mom Dukes is here and she says she part of y'all, I'm part of y'all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was my attitude. It was always like, yo, fuck y'all, fuck you, I'm here. So yeah, real talk. And you know, and it's I mean, I remember speaking to my cousin recently. I was like, yo, man, like, you guys were really mean to me, but like, it didn't. like the kind of shit that, nowadays people, write blogs about. You know what I mean? Like I was bullied and whatnot. I was like, to me, it was like, yo, it really kind of coached me. It taught me and kind of foreshadowed, my career going forward.
Yeah, you needed to grow that thick skin. Yeah. So at this point, your mom is feeding you all these books. You've discovered that there's this thing called rap, right? But it's not necessarily something you want to do. So what is it that you're thinking at 12 years old? This is what I'm going to grow up and become.
Still kind of like, childish, childhood kind of, I want to be an accountant. My mom does this. You know what I mean? That's still kind of in that space. But there's this, there was almost like two worlds for me. It was like home and the streets, right? And in the streets, I was like, so when I came back, I was the guy who had mastered every rap song that you hear. It's still new, but to me, it's like, yo, play it twice, I'll get it. So people like, damn, these kid crazy, And I'm talking about imitating. I'm not talking about like rapping my own or freestyle, none of that. Just like, yo, okay, play that Pat Simpson. Pat Simpson from The Simpsons. He used to rap a little. He was dope too. Real talk. Don't go listen to Pat Simpson now. But like, play twice. Play twice, I got it. You know what I mean? I was like, this is crazy. So that became my thing as well. Like, okay, fuck, I found a niche for myself. In the crews, I mean, I'm still talking about Soweto here. In the little in the squads that are forming, because remember I'm other, so I must find a way to fit in. So my way was like, so I was like, cool, so that was my little in. But yeah, still no kind of no thought of like, yo, this can be a career. No, I mean, there isn't even an example of that. There isn't even it's still kind of like, hey,
it's still fun.
It's still fun. It's still, yeah.
And you're not thinking, I want to be a doctor. I want to be...
I'm just like, accountant. That's the first and last thing I ever thought about. And I think it came from my mother's mouth. She was like, and it was like, okay, accountant, shop.
Yeah. So what happens for you to then move? Because then you move to Berea, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, just, leveling up. Mom Dukes is leveling up. She gets herself... so we're staying in her father's home. A home in her home. So now she gets her home for us now in Berea. And I think that's when things begin to change for me, because Berea was really like was a very I remember it was a very lonely time for me. It was still very Jewish and white, and I went to Banato, which is, I don't know if it's still a school today. Where? Are you sure? Are you sure? I drove past. I'm not sure, bro. I saw those gates. I'm not sure. Shit look like Skid Row for real. But anyway, if you say it's a school, I trust you. I mean, SA, right? So, but it was a school when I was when I went there, and it was still very, like I said, still very Jewish. Lots of synagogues. You still see a lot of like the Jewish families, like you see in Norwood. Walking around with the I don't know about Norwood though. Maybe Linksfield side.
Don't be a hater. Don't be a hater.
Yeah, Jewish families. It was still kind of like, so there was no one. There was no one. If you see someone with baggy pants, you're like, yo! There was absolutely nothing there. And so, like, I mean, you guys are younger than me, so you probably remember, being like a teenager. But like, yo, man, I was lonely, bro. Like real kind of lonely. Like mom would go to work, I'd go to school, and it was like, and holidays were the worst because either they dropped me off in Soweto or it's Berea. And, the only thing that I remember doing in like 1 or 2 like years there was like doing a lot of reading and listening to a shitload of like hip hop music. And like I was not in Berea anymore. If I listen to Ice Cube, I'm in South Central LA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'm listening to Too Short, I'm in Oakland. If I'm listening to, you know what I mean? It was that, to me, it was really visceral. It was like so, And it's something that I kind of identified in someone like Nasty C. You know, when I first met Nasty C, when I heard him, I was like, yo, man, where the fuck do you come from? Because if there's you, then it means that there's 2-3 others wherever you come from.
Yeah.
And he was like, nah, bro, I was in the house. And that shit, I could identify. I was like, word. You were in the house and you ate this shit. You swallowed it whole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just consumed this shit. A lot of us come from, I come from that, but at least after that, I found a movement. I found a culture. I found people around who you can test your shit against. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there is that time when you just go, okay, I'm in the house. I'm studying this shit. Like, it's, you know what I mean? And those 2 years, I think, kind of took me from, cool party trick, I could rap like this, to like, yo, I even understand, I think, like proper like nuances of like rapping nuances, like how to, you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
like and different styles, like like East Coast stuff, like I started to develop that like in a real kind of still nothing written, just
Yeah.
kind of yeah.
Yeah. So is Zweli
Yeah,
the-
Zweli's in Berea now. So Zweli I meet at the basketball court. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And
So before you tell us that story, a lot of people here won't have known who Zweli Badela
Right.
is or was to you.
Right.
So can you just break it down a little bit?
indeed, Zweli Tupadela was just a homie who lived in Berea and was him and I were in a group called Database. It's long time things, but our first rap group I ever was Database, and he's the guy who told me you can write your own shit. I was like, what?
So when you decided to be database, you're not writing rhymes. You're just saying
No.
we're in a group together.
This is even before that. So we're just. So here's the thing. Zweli was friends with DJ Blaze and Bionic, and he was the plug. So everyone, Amo, everyone would go to Zweli's house to go get the new shit because they didn't have the connect. But Zweli, somehow they took a liking to him. Blaze and them took a liking to him, and he would get shit all the time. Blaze used to work at BMG or whatever, so he'd get all these like singles or whatever. So Zweli would always have hot shit. How I met Zweli was through his cousin. My mom went to Malaysia. I gave her a list of shit to buy. She came back, Snoop Dogg, Queen Latifah, Run DMC, when Run DMC was fucking dead. But they had a really dope joint with CL Smooth and Pete Rock, and Down with the King. I love that joint. And I had and a couple maxi singles. And I told Zweli, I told Linda, I had like, yo, Mandela, I told him, yo, I got Black Rain, I got Queen Latifah. He was like, no fucking ways. And again, no fucking ways, because my mom just came back from Malaysia. This shit is not here, She just came back from Malaysia. So yes, fucking ways. I got this shit, And Zweli's like, no ways. I want to see this shit. I want to see. So we meet up like on some gang shit. Like, yo, show me yours. I'll show you mine, Now again, I'm the one pretending like I got the hookup. I don't. I have 4 fucking CDs, bro. I don't got shit but 4 CDs. You know what I mean? I'm bluffing. I'm like, I got. Zweli's the one with the fucking rack of CDs and the plug, and the never ending. And so this showdown happens, and I pull out the first one. I pull out is Black Rain. He's like, dang. This nigga killing me. He pulls out Tupacalypse Now. That's like Tupac's first joint. Before Strictly for My Niggas, I'm like, okay, I might be in over my head here, right? Because I only know Tupac as an actor at this point. I'm like, what the fuck? This nigga raps. And the cut was so sick, it's just him with the big bomber jack. I was like, oh my God. And then I give him the single, the Run DMC joint. He's like, damn, this kid is killing me. Then I fuck up. I say, yo, I want that Snoop Dogg. Now, the Snoop Dogg was hot. Doggy Style was a dope album, but it was everywhere. I didn't notice. So I misstep. I'm like, yeah, I want that Doggy Style. So that's when I revealed myself to him that this nigga ain't got it, like, But from that, we really became friends, and he could see, he saw from how when we were listening to the stuff, I was rapping along, and he was like, this dude is serious. And then it became. I saw that he liked it, and I kept rapping along to everything. Then he hit me with the yo, you can write your own shit. Game over.
Yeah.
That was it. I was like, what? Yeah, you can write your own shit. Like around here, we write our own shit.
So he's rapping at the time.
He's rapping.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, in fact, there's this whole world where niggas write their own shit. I'm like, where? Carlton Center, come this Friday after school. Come after school. I get into a bus, double-decker bus. I don't know when last you motherfuckers rode a double-decker bus. Double-decker bus straight to Carlton by the ice rink. And my God.
Your whole world changed.
Amo, Shorty, Crooked, Robo, fucking who's the dude that was in Order Mister? Loco. Like, bro, I was like, what?
So when you show up there to the ice rink, do you already have your rhymes?
I don't got shit.
You're just showing
I
up
just
to
know
see if it
niggas right.
happens?
I just know niggas write their own shit. So I'm like, but I'm with Zweli. So nobody, there isn't a single human being. Nobody. And God bless his soul, Zweli's passed now. Nobody can ever say, yo, I heard a whack T verse. And I'll tell you why. Because I never, ever, I didn't rap for after that, I didn't rap for like 3 years in public and at the club, anywhere. All I did was use my little rep with Zweli and Bionic and like, cause I was in the circle. I was always the dude. It was like, and everyone assumed this dude is nice.
By association. Yeah.
But I was always with Zweli like this. And he's like, nah.
So you would rap for Zweli
all
only?
the time. We would rap like this. We were even database. We're like, okay, this is our crew name. Rap like this. Nah.
And did that like force you to keep on going, okay, I can do better, or did it demoralize you?
I mean, I wanna be down. So, all right, okay, let's try. And also, it's not like he's bullshitting me, because every freaking weekend I go to the club and I watch and I go, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I'm trash. You know what I mean? So it was like, yo, I just can't hang. And then one time, Shorty Skills, he probably doesn't remember, and that's my homie, that's my heart, He doesn't remember. So you had to kind of sow your seeds outside the club to get on the stage. You feel me? You had to kind of like have a name for yourself, and not just like, yo, one rhyme. Oh, yo, it's dope. Yo, let's go. Nah, you gotta like couple weeks in, like, shit, yo, this guy's killing it downstairs. All right. And then what's his name? Dennis. Wicked would be like, he always the MC, fucking cock blocker of note. Always like, nah, yeah, all right, nah, So he'd handle the list, and he'd be like, so, you had to sow your seeds. And one time Shorty looked at me and said, yo, actually, I never heard you spit.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And that was when I broke it was like, all right, cool, let's do it.
And you were confident at this point? Like, yo, okay.
I had no choice at that point.
Okay.
At that point, it was like, okay, this charade can only go on for so long. And it was like, we handled. And then we had a nice little thing where there's a guy called Dice. I don't know if you guys know Dice. He's Mambila. He's the graph artist now. He's do a bunch of things. Dice, Pro Kid. I don't even know if it was Pro Kid then, but there's this one verse that he kicked for me, where he, did the whole MC thing, like your master ceremony, master creativity, all that, you know what I mean? And that shit blew my mind. And it was no Zulu word, not one. He was just, and the club was like that. Honestly, it was very oppressive in that sense. Like, it's only until like Loco, and in fact, there were factions. There were like vernac rappers, and there were like, these English rappers. It wasn't like crazy. It wasn't like crazy, like factionless, but there was definitely like, yo, people privileged if you rap in English, And I think that's probably one of the biggest heists in the SA hip hop ever, is that like, because it's an English thing, and I've said this before, because it's an English thing, we kind of like, we kind of jacked the thing. You know what I mean? From the people, I feel like, because if you think about it, again, the shit that has been spoken about in like by Kool G Rap or by Tupac, or it's shit that kids in the hood can relate to more than our little nerdy asses in the little, you know what I mean, in the little lower middle class homes, you know. But we understood English. We had a better grip on the language. So thus we colonized it, yo. We and because of that, there was a lot of this, that's why when Squatter broke out, and I know I'm fast forwarding, but when Squatter broke out, it was such a big thing because it was like, it was under a very big boot that they came up under, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So when you're part of database, when you get onto that stage for the first time, what is your alias then? Is it Fat Boy?
Fat Boy.
So just because you're chubby, that was the...
That's it. That's the name I got from playing basketball.
Okay.
So, and I'll tell you the story. I tell the story to my son all the time. So I used to play this guy called Bruce all the time. Me and him were cool. He used to live in Botswana. Came from Botswana, but he was in Joburg. Used to play basketball. He was fucking nice. And, he always used to be like, yo, what, fat boy? You ain't got this. What, fat boy? Always dissing me. And you know what happens when you play someone nicer than you? You get better. So I got better. And I beat him. And I was like, yeah, what? Fat boy got you. And so, you flipped it, and I changed the name to mean that, yo, do you know what I mean?
You're nice with it.
So and fat was a thing back then, like fat, yo, that shit's fat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this shit works.
Yeah. So at this point, you've discovered you can write your own rhymes.
Yeah.
And are you also like, let's see if I can do it without a beat? Like, how does poetry then enter your world?
Well, Zweli, at this time, Zweli's like, yo, Zweli starting to fuck. See, Zweli was he was very he was alternative. He got a guitar, started playing. I think it was the Fugees, though. If you're real talk, I think it was the Fugees that got him there. But he got a guitar. He took the leap. He jumped out the window. He got a guitar, and he was like, "Yo, we got to rock like this now." I'm like, where? Yeah, like now? Yeah, sure. Like, nah, at the club. I'm like, nigga, we just got on, bro. We just got on. You want to bring fucking guitars here? And he was like, yo, he's practicing his guitar every day, fucking snooze fest. I'm sitting there going, this nigga. So it kind of forces me now to go, all right, while he's doing this shit, okay, I'm writing now, and writing a lot more. In fact, I kind of overtook him with the writing just because, again, he found in the
something else.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah, and so when he was like, yo, we got to do this at the club, I was trying to rhyme to this shit, and I was like, yo, man, this shit, and I got mad rhythm, and this shit don't work like that, So he's like, yo, fit it in however you want. So then it was like, I slow it down. So I don't think I've ever written a poem in my life. I just kick rhymes without a beat. And people thought I was doing poetry.
And then you just went with it.
My shit always rhymed. If you go back to any fucking poem that you say I wrote, my shit, yo, Yvonne, do me in the volume. First song you hear, live at the Bassline, is Yvonne, a cappella.
Yeah.
People think it's a poem. I recorded that song maybe 3 months before that on a beat. What a dream led to this.
Yeah.
My little EP that I did. I recorded that on a beat, complete, the whole thing rhyme. They say a thin skin drum makes the loudest beat. You know what I mean? It's like, that's your rhyme. It's like, it's a rhyme, bro. But okay. I ride with y'all. It's cool. It's poetry. Cool. But I think it's because of the density, the kind of like and obviously I did like, spoken word poetry and written poetry, and I borrowed a lot from, what came from home.
Yeah.
And so for me, it became this nice little trick that I would do. So with the hip hop artists, or with the rappers, I would always kind of do what they call poetry. And then with the poetry, motherfuckers always be like, yo, play a beat, nigga. You know, just to kind of like stunt. Yeah. And it'd be like, yo, cause yo, mad poets got no beat, got no rhythm, you know, got no flow. So it's nice to kind of say, yo, maybe you should write your shit down and put it in a book, nigga. You know? Yeah, anyway. But yeah, so Zweli's playing guitar and he's like, yo, so we do this performance at the club. And that shit, I think that shit changed the course of how people looked at us. Before we were rappers at the club, young rappers trying to get on to like a Amo level and a Crooked level. Nowhere near that, but trying to get on that. And then when we performed with Zweli playing guitar and me kind of rapping and doing this, it was like, okay, these niggas is something else. You know what I mean? And kind of like, you know, like how you look at like an Outcast and you go, yeah, okay, there's Wu, there's Fugees, there's, what the fuck is these niggas? You know what I mean? Yeah, it was like that.
Yeah. So how does Database come to an end? Because then after that, you go on your initial solo trip, right?
Zweli's dad died and he went to go bury his dad. I had some money. I was like, yo, where'd I get this money from too? I don't even know. I think mom's. Yeah, mom's. Definitely mom's. I had some money, like a lot of money. Like I'm talking about like back then, like 15, 18. You know what I mean?
1,000.
And I'm like, yo, I got money to record, Zweli. I got money to record. He's like, yo, let's do it here in the in the Eastern Cape, in King Williamstown. I'm like, all right, cool. And I go out there. I was supposed to be there for 2 weeks. I was there for 2 months. Came back with nothing.
How come?
Because we were fucking around. And my friend was mourning for real. He was mourning for real. And I just stayed. We kicked it. We hung out. It was like, you know, I helped him get over that hump, and I could see that he just wasn't the same after that. You know, after his dad died, it was like he wasn't really. He wasn't. I think also there were responsibilities on him because he's, you know what I mean, family stuff, and he was being nice to me and wasn't telling me, wasn't revealing that stuff to me. Like, yo, bro, I ain't going back to Joburg to rap. So but he was being nice to me. He was kind of like, you know, and we're cool. And I had dough and we're chilling. And it was like, came back, you know, mom's like, so where's the stuff? I'm like, what stuff? What you talking about? You know, and that's when I think I even fell out of love with because even the club was starting to, it was on his last legs, and it was like, it started to be more about like partying and bullshit. And I saw a lot of friends get into like smoking weed and just falling the fuck apart. And, you know, like really dope artists that like, I wouldn't say their names here, but like, you know, who I really fucking loved and respected, and just kind of fall by the wayside because of like peer pressure and all dumb shit. And I looked at it and I was like, yeah, character.
Yeah.
I'm out.
So how old are you at this point?
Now I'm probably like 17, and I'm out now. I'm in Pretoria now. So we moved to Pretoria. Pretoria saved my life as well, because after Zweli's pops died, we moved to Pretoria, and what?
I don't know why Pretoria is funny.
Oh, shout out to Pretoria, yeah. And it's funny too you say that, because it wasn't the same Pretoria you know now. It was no Cap City, Rap City, nothing. There were these guys called the QMCs. Real Pretoria dudes know the QMCs. They used to sell beanies and incense at Semi-Mark Square. Those dudes are cool though. They were really cool, and they knew diddly squat about hip hop for real.
Yeah.
But one of them, you know, knew about the club, and you know what I mean. So, like, it was like a desert, bro. It was like a desert. So I knew that if I stayed here, I could probably get mad props here and be the man. But I know Joe. I know what's happening in the club. So what I would do is, like, in the week at school, in Littleton Manor, in the week at school, it's reading, it's, you know, getting my bars up, And then weekend, it's testing. It's like, yo, who got what? It's rapping, it's battling, it's doing this, and then it's back. You know what I mean? So I kind of double life where in school people don't know why my fucking pants are to my knees. They're like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? You know?
Yeah.
And it's not even like, it's not like, again, I have to stress this, man. It's not like with you guys, it's like there's dudes in MTN right now with pants sagging. You know what I mean?
It's not the norm.
It's
back
not
then.
the norm, yo. It's like really like, pants sagging, the extra fucking lean when you walk, just to make sure, yo, I'm different.
Yeah.
Just know that over here, so, it's things like that, coming to school with Busta Rhymes. And they're like, what the fuck are you listening to? Then like 4 months later, hoo-ha, everybody's saying hoo-ha. You like, you fucking idiots. I've been had this shit, you know what I mean? Like, but you weren't checking for me. It's cool. Even the girls at school, it's like, yeah, that was painful. Cause it was like, you're modeling yourself after all these fucking super ultra cool dudes, right? In your rap world and in your Source magazines and you think you are, cause shit. You are. But yo, they looking at you like, this guy's fucking stupid. This guy's dumb, and yeah, that was hard, man. That was hard. And it only takes, and here's the thing, you were such a pariah as a hip hop dude because in history class, you're sitting next to this girl. And you guys are hitting it off, yo. Like normal shit. Like, yo, pal, you guys are really hitting it off. It's really cool. You're like, yo. And then you shoot your little shot. And then she like, nigga, me and you out there. You crazy, nigga. You crazy. You like, so, you're like, and you realize it's not because she doesn't like you per se. It's because you just don't have any social currency in the school. You really don't. You like, you those weirdos. You like the white guy with the black nail polish. You're basically the black version of him,
right?
In the school, you know what I mean? And it only took like my dude Tulu, who he came in. I think I was in grade 8. Yeah, grade 8 at the time. What's grade 8? Grade 8 is 6.
Standard 6.
No, standard's 8 at the time, and he's coming in. So he's like they come in fresh crop of like kids who are kind of hip, they're kind of with it a little, so they, you know what I mean? So now I become the OG now, schooling everyone, and now I have a squad now, I got disciples now, so, you find us at the basketball court, kicking freestyles, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, and then and then the girls are like, okay,
well, maybe.
you do got something about him, you do got, but yeah, anyway.
Yeah. So you moved to Pretoria.
All these are traumas, yo. This is traumatic.
I know, we're laughing about it now.
You're lucky I did the whole therapy thing.
So then database is gone. And
Database is gone.
you've moved to Pretoria. You're still rapping, but keeping it low key, right? And you mentioned a dream led to this. And even the Tao of Tumi, right, came later. So I'm curious about, for somebody who was so lonely and who knows what that's like, and somebody who, when his parents were in exile, you were holding on to people all the time. Yeah. What then gives you the confidence to be like, it's the Tao of Tumi. Yeah. It's not us. Yeah. It's me. These are my raps and me on a song.
I think it's just kind of a natural progression. Like when Zweli leaves, it's not database anymore. People are like, yo, fat boy. And I meet Masauko from Black Sunshine. He's amazing group, by the way, acoustic, soul kind of, folky group. And he's from Malawi, but lived in Brooklyn. And he meets me and he's like, yo, bro, you really nice. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, yo, come through to the crib. Let's record some stuff. I'm like, bro, database to the death of it, nigga, I'm waiting for my mans to come back, so I'm not even, I'm like, whatever, bro, this weird, and I'm not budging. And it was Wadi, you might know Watkin Tudor Jones as the Antwoord Ninja from the Antwoord. Wadi here's a recording that we had done with Zweli a long time ago from Bradley. Bradley had a label called Tick Tick Bang. He was with this thing called Tick Tick Bang. And we had sent him a recording that we had done with Seed. This anyway, but you know, he heard me rap one day. He was like, "Yo, who the fuck is this guy?" So Bradley's like, "No, that's Fat Boy from ours." He's like, "Yo." So when Gene Gray, Barbito, and DJ Mr. Len from Company Flow, when Bradley brings them out for the club, he's like, "Yo, I need some opening acts, whatever." So Wadi is one of the opening, but he's Max Normal before the band. He's just Max Normal as a character. So he comes to me, he's like, "Yo, I want you to be like my Robin." I'm like Batman, you like Robin, you know? He was little manning me, you know? It's like, all right, whatever, you know, it's cool, whatever. I mean, and Wadi was a thing back then. And when I say a thing, I mean like he had already gone through a group called the Original Evergreens. You know, he who was signed to like Sony, the big thing, kind of modeled after Cypress Hill, with a lot of weed smoking, just talking shit. So he had come through like the label system. He was a professional musician. So, you know, I think this was like his new experiment. Like, yo, let me fuck with the club guys. Let me get my rep up, you know? And God bless him. That's why I always say, like, to me, no one person has the power to say this person's not hip hop, you know? But I think if anyone has paid his dues, you know what I mean? It's Wadi. Like Wadi has been through every single little nook and cranny that you can say, oh, hip hop lived here. Wadi was here. You know what I mean? So he was like, yo, you know, Batman Robin. I'm like, all right, cool, man. Cool. So we do the show. I come on stage. Everyone's like, yo, Fat Boy Faster. He was like, the fuck? He didn't know. He thought he discovered something. You know, Jan van Riebeck's type, you know. But, you know, there was some shit, you know. So then that relationship ended. Well, at least the Batman and Robin. But the one thing he done for me was he introduced me to a guy called Pete at Flower Pot Studios. I went to go record something for him there. Wadi disappeared. Pete liked what I did. He was like, yo, come record. And I was like, okay. And that changed everything for me, because when you know that everything you're going to write is going to be recorded forever, it's different now. You're writing different now, you know? And I was nice, but I wasn't like recorded nice. Now I was like thinking, yo, this is the shit that's so Tao is kind of the first thing. That's where, again, it's me on my own with Pete. It's not like with Masauko. It's not like these, you know what I mean? It's me on my own. So I don't feel like I'm betraying Zweli. I just feel like, okay, well, in the meantime, you know? But I'm really growing into this thing, and I'm starting to also see that, okay, Zweli's he's not really coming back like that, you know? So, you know, so we do that, and then it becomes the Tao. And from that, by the way, so I lived in Centurion in Littleton, and I would take the train from Sports Park Station all the way to Park Station, get off there, walk to the club. So it's like probably leave home at like 12, get to Johannesburg at about 2, and I'm in the club at like 3, right? And then I'm in the train like 7 p.m. because that's when there's no ticket examiners and whatever. So, you know, it's a free ride. And all with 10 rand in my pocket. And I wrote the whole Tao on those train trips.
Oh, really?
I wrote Yvonne in those train trips. I wrote People of the Light in those train trips. I wrote She Spirit Fancies on those train trips. I wrote everything, like little Walkman that I had, like that. And I had like locks, so all the like, you know, these dudes that used to jack people on the train be like, Jaman. Real talk, it was too fascinating to me. It's like back when that shit meant something, you know, they'd be like, Jaman, tack one. You know what I mean? You're like, oh shit.
So the dread saved you.
So the dread saved me, you know. But yeah, I wrote all that shit there. And because, peep this, I went to Bassline to go check out this band called from Australia. I forget the name of the band. I know this V is gonna kill me, but he was the bass player. V was the bass player from Australia. They're playing at the Bassline, kind of like touring band, whatever. They're playing at the Bassline. I'm chilling with Masauko. We went to go check out the band. Then the DJ is scratching. He's like, yo, any MCs here who can jump on? We play some beats. And Masa's like, yo, let's go. It's like, all right, we're going. So we ride with, freestyle and rap. I'm like, oh shit. So V's like, yo, I lived here 10 years ago. There was no such thing. So he's wilding. And so Prowler from Australia, he's like, yo, your shit is so dope, bro. He sends some beats. I record them at Pete. The first thing I was on with a barcode was an Australian release. A Dream Led to This was a vinyl, by the way, not a CD, a vinyl.
Damn.
Yeah, a Dream Led to This. With with all these joints that I'm talking about. And then, then Kenny and them heard it, then Doom in the Volume, then...
Yeah. Okay, we're coming.
All right.
So you spoke about when you're writing something to be recorded, you're writing differently. So is that what sparks the subtle reinvention from Fat Boy to Tumi?
Yeah, I mean, Fat Boy to Tumi is really Masaoko. Masaoko is like, yo, the fuck does this thing mean? You're like, yo, are you a boy? Boy is like American for like what they call niggas. Oh, that whole spiel, he gave me that whole, and I'm like, okay, all right. And I can't be fat, man. That's just terrible. So, and it can't be fat. Fat is what they call the freaking, it fats, you know what I mean? It's like, it's terrible. So I was like, yo, the next best thing was the name my mama gave me, and it was like, okay, no more. And I was very shocked at how, I was pleasantly surprised at how quickly that took. Like, people literally stopped calling me Fat Boy and was like, yo, do me. And I was like, this is crazy. This is nuts. Yeah.
So Bassline is in Melville at this stage, right? So it's not here in Newtown. And Kenny and them, you were saying, they hear a dream led to this. And then?
They hear Dream Led to This. By that time, honestly, the name is the name now. The name's doing the things now, So it's like, I think there's no one in this room that can remember a time when they liked rap music, particularly in South Africa, and the name didn't come up. You know what I mean?
If you say so yourself.
I'm because you won't say it. You're supposed to be giving me flowers here, so I'm gonna say it. So you feel me? So the name, the name did the. That's why we do this thing, because the name has to. My name's my name, Helen. So the name does the thing, and at this point, it's like, okay, yo, and the nice thing is when you hear the name and then you see. And it's like, okay, it connects. You know what I mean? It's not like, tech. You know what I mean? It was just there. So, so they're doing this amazing thing. The poetry thing is on now. It's like, by the way, we're skipping a really important part. But
let's not skip it. Let's go back to it. What part are we missing?
PERM.
Okay.
You ever heard of PERM?
No.
PERM was.
Have you guys heard of PERM?
Does anyone heard? No, not the hairstyle.
Not you, Zubs. Everyone but Zubs must tell us.
Yeah, not
tell
Zubs.
Us about
PERM. Zubs knows everything.
So tell us about PERM.
PERM was a group of poets. It included Simpiwe Dana, MXO, T, Z, Sammy, Lebu, Chef, Lebu Mashida, Chef, 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 man, Master Sip from Squatter, Master Sip. And it was really just a collective of poets that would gather and kick shit to each other and, like we used to meet at like supper club in Yeovil and, and this is when I was knee deep in the poetry stuff, I was just kind of like, and I think the biggest it ever got was when we linked with other poets from the South, and we used to meet at the Johannesburg Gardens, the Library Gardens, whatever. And we would kind of congregate there, and it was
your notepads and stuff.
Notepads.
With your notepads.
Yo,
was it like that?
Yeah, not me, because I rap.
Oh, you were like.
No, but real talk, with notepads and backpacks and dreads and dashikis, and it was fly. It was fly as hell. It was a really cool thing, and I think if anything, it promoted. I think it promoted like this idea of like reading and measuring yourself up against other people and getting critiqued and getting like real kind of feedback of the stuff you wrote, like I said, like real people who went on to do amazing things were part of this collective in short bursts. Even Nandi from Nandi Lepu was
Mama
here.
Gashaka.
Yeah, Mama Shaka. She was she was in the group as well. And yeah, so it was really dope movement. And it's very funny when I see like poetry things spring up. I always think, I just don't be knowing, but
Well, this is why you're here to tell us,
Yeah.
And we're running a little bit behind now.
Wow, it's not my fault.
Because your story is so like layered and we want to know everything, right? So I think we need to jump to, so you've been a part of Database, you've been a part of PERM.
The volume.
And yes, so how do you guys establish the volume in 2002?
I'll rush through it. So we do, Eric Kenny invite me to do Organics, which is their evening at the Bassline. Amazing evening. They used to have rappers, poets, band people. They connected a whole different communities together in this room. And I'm talking about a room where, the night before, Abdullah Ibrahim was playing. The night after, Max Norm was playing. You know what I mean? The night after is like Sipo Hot Sticks, you know what I mean? Or whatever, So they were able to connect, people who play music, like band guys from NF. What's the school of arts? NSA, those weirdos. Those weirdos from there, able to connect us from like the club and all these places. Even like I remember even seeing for the first time I saw from Outrageous. What's the group with Shovel in them?
Optical Ill.
Optical Ill. First time I saw them there. In fact, they said I stole the volume. Because what would happen is Tiago, Paolo, and Dave and them would play for whoever is going to perform. So you do a little rehearsal during the week, and then you come and there will be the house band for everyone who plays. And we did our thing, and I got the call like, yo, so we were trying to want to do this thing permanently. So I'm like, I didn't steal anything. You didn't get the call, I got the call.
So they reached out to you, Tiago and them.
Tiago they were like, yo, man, this shit really felt good, man, and we want to do it with you, and it really did feel good, So we're like, all right, cool, let's do it. And Tiago was kind of design centric, and he designed the volume thing, and he was like, yo, the volume. He wanted to call it just the volume, and I was like,
no.
Well, it wasn't even my idea. No, I think it was Paolo or someone was like, yo, Bob Marley and the Wailers, we found this guy with a name already, Mike and the Mechanics, you know what I mean? This is so dope. It's a throwback to all these dope names. So threw me in the volume, But I must stress that it was a band. It wasn't like this leader and then the guys that play for me. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was really a band. We split everything four ways. Everything, you know what I mean? Expense, profit, everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I saw you, I can't remember what interview it was with, where you said people weren't really feeling live at the Bassline when it dropped. And I don't know anyone who wasn't feeling it. But I want to talk about when you guys were recording
I'll tell you who wasn't feeling it. I'll tell you, I call him a journal tard too. That's my favorite word. What's his name, man? You know him. He used to write for Rolling Stones when they were here. Takes himself very seriously too.
Black guy, white guy?
Black guy.
Bongani
Matondo. He said we were like, yeah, fuck that dude. Word. I mean that too. He used to say we were like this wannabe rock band, playing like AC/DC. Yeah, quote. Yeah, like AC/DC stuff. And I, in my head, I'm just like, you fucking idiot. This is, and I'm not, this is not like a self-important rant or anything. It's like, we're literally playing with artists who play alongside all these jazz artists. You know what I mean? Like we're freestyling our way through this thing that we're all enjoying. And even jazz artists are coming to watch these guys play and saying, yo, this is some shit, And this nigga is dismissing it as like some ACDC, whatever. And he was hot shit back then. So it really, it really cut deep. And again, you're right. Like in our circle, no one was going, well, no one wasn't liking it. But he specifically was, being retarded about it.
All right, so let's go back to when you recorded. Is it true that you recorded two versions of it? Like you either did two nights or like...
Yeah, we met this band called Relax from the Netherlands. We played at Opikopi, and they played. Opikopi brought them down. They watched us perform. They loved it so much. They were like, I was chilling with Louis. Louis is the lead vocalist of the group. He was like, yo, you should record. I'm like, yeah, man. Yo, we ain't got the money, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, nah, just record the live gig. I'm like, what you mean? Like invite people, record 2 nights, pick the best night, and keep it moving. Live at the Bassline.
All right, cool. And some of the songs that were on that album, you'd already put onto other works, right? Was there anything new that came from that experience?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. So it was like Yvonne, People of the Light was new. And again, really, Pebbles came and like changed the whole thing. You know what I mean? They turned it into... so that's what a lot of what I was doing was like kind of reinterpreting my songs live. But when we really got together as the band, we started to... And like remove the fat and keep the, you know what I mean, and reimagine some of the songs. So when I heard Pebbles through Outrageous, of course, and it was like, what's that Destiny joint?
Incredible.
Bro.
And the Golden Shovel remix.
Oh, that was a remix?
Hell yeah. Incredible.
Yeah, if you say so.
You would have stolen that too. Anyway.
Yeah. In fact, I was on that. I was about to yap Pebbles. I was like, yo, look, ma. You see what we doing over here. I don't know what they doing over there, but you know what we doing over here. Nah, but 76 People in the Light. She bodied that shit. So, what the fuck was I saying? What were we talking about?
We were talking about recording that night.
Yeah,
and what was new.
Right, yeah. So a lot of that stuff was kind of reimagined, and some stuff that was kind of done as poetry, with back, with like some bad music. Yeah, it was like Marcus Wide was on there as well. Yeah.
So 10 years later, 3 albums later. Yes, 3. No?
10 now.
With Tumi and The Volume. You guys had 3 albums?
Yes.
So you were together from 2002 to 2012?
Yes, that's what I announced. Yeah.
Yes. So, yes?
10 years, huh?
Okay. Sorry, sound people. So why did you decide to break up? Because you could have just said, oh, well, we'll come back whenever we feel like coming back. But you disbanded in 2012.
Yeah, we went on a trip. We got booked to go to Sao Paulo in Brazil. Great trip. The best part of the trip was when we were chilling, go shopping, going to the parties at 4 a.m. and going to the beach and smoking cigars. The worst part was when we were playing music. Yeah, we were done with the songs. And we were looking at each other like, this is trash. And sometimes you get to those hurdles. In the 10 years, we'd get to those hurdles where we're like, man, this shit's starting to sound stale. But we have the energy to go, all right, let's do some new shit. Let's scrap the set. And this time we didn't even have the energy. We were like, yeah, Tiago wants to go do films. Paulo wants to do other things. You know what I mean? It was like we were done. And I was like, yeah, with this, yeah, definitely. I'm like, yo, I'm tired. But I always had this itch I wanted to scratch, where I was like, the only reason I did solo work in between when I was with The Volume was because we did so much traveling with Tumi and The Volume that I was literally losing traction in the country. Like people were like, would forget, like, oh, Gonja. So I'd be like, music for my good eye. Hey. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm still here. What? You know what I mean? Just to, because I'm still here. Like, that's the thing. It's like you travel so much. You travel 6 months of the year. But the other 6 months, you at Rage, you at Outrageous, you chilling with, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You in the huddle, you in the ciphers, you chilling. But because you're not doing what Squatter and everyone else is doing as far as like the above the line stuff, you just like, okay, this
Out
guy's
of sight, out of
yeah, out of
mind.
sight, out of mind, you know. So, and we were getting a lot of traction with Doom in the Volume, like outside the country. It was like, damn, bro. I mean, till today, there are artists who go, new artists who go overseas, and the first thing they ask him, yo, you know this is to me, you know. It's like, yeah, nigga, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I did that because of that, and then through doing that, you kind of discover new things. You discover, like, you know, a scene in Pretoria. You discover, what was that group Lebo was with? Voodoo Child? Voodoo Child. You discover Voodoo Child. You discover, you know, them bands. You discover these things that you're like, oh shit. You discover rappers. You discover, you know, and then people start to also put you in boxes. They go, okay, let's about Zabsli proverb. You know what I mean? Then they go,
Well,
"Rah."
I'm glad you're aware.
No, they do. They put you there, and meanwhile, I'm like, yo, where was these niggas when I was with Squatter? Squatter, yo, I should be over there. Why you got me with this? Where this nigga from? Is this nigga even South African? Where's this nigga from? You know what I mean? You're like, why are they putting me with Zubs? Yo, I was with Squatter, yo. I want
Well, you did do that to yourselves. That bromance is a real thing.
yeah, but I wanted the Squatter checks as well. I was like, yo, them niggas getting the, yo, what's with the bag over there? But I hated that as well, you know. Like I always rag at Sipos Tole, who signed Squatter, that landmark deal, you know. He had signed them, and I always shit on him because I was like, yo, you try to fuck this whole thing up. You created this narrative that, like, if you're not rapping in vernac, it's not real SA hip hop. Whereas, like 2 years, not even a year before that, we were in the cypher with Slicker and them. So what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? I've never heard Slicker rap in vernac. What the fuck you talking about? You know? All of a sudden, we're the bad guys, you know? So, but to their credit, you know, Squatter was always like, yo, nah, this is home base over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it was a lot of the Journal Tods and the other people that were like, yo, there's this and then there's this, you know? And the money people, because the money people were like, well, Moya versus People of the Light. Moya. So we want more Moya. You know what I mean? So they start looking in their A&R department, they start looking for more squatters. They're not looking for proverbs and Zubses, because yes, it's amazing, it's compelling, it's dope, but bottom line, this makes, you know.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about your solo work in part 2. I know we are running hella late, but we're going to try and, you know, make it super interesting so you don't feel like you're sitting here for 5 million hours. So right now I'm going to open it up for questions about anything that happened before or during Dumi and the Volume, if you have any questions about that. If you have any questions about Stogie T, we're coming to that. If you have questions about the solo work, we're coming to that. Any questions at all right now? There's a question in front.
I just want you to go back to like the beginning whereby like you were abroad, actually, like the language barrier. Since like you were like traveling different countries, like didn't it affect you like communication, friends wise?
I was young, so I learned. I mean, when you're a kid, you learn, you pick up every, you know, it's easier. Like I could speak Portuguese, French, Nordic, which is what they speak in Denmark and Norway. I could speak a bunch Swahili, but I lost them all as I got older and you know, and away from those environments. But I think with kids, it's easy to pick up these languages.
In defense of my art, I'd rather be Tony Allen than Questlove. In defense of my art.